All right, welcome to episode 22, 23. I believe it's 23. Let me double check that. Yeah, episode 23 of the Devlogs. Quick recap what we did last time. Managed to get a spawn area in called Hittable spawn area. Let's just show that for now. Made it into a collision, gave it a collision polygon 2D. So now this is the spawn area for Hittables. Right, so we've got that in. And what I'm doing now is it's inside of level manager and hittable spawn, I believe. Yeah. So level manager is just letting the hittable spawner know spawn a random hittable at a random point, and hittable spawners taking that and going doing all the calculating and trying to get a random point inside of the hittable spawn area, selecting a random point and then spawning that hittable at that specific area. So that's what we've done. This is what the game looks like currently. I'm not going to show my input, but you'll be able to see it. 2 secs. So every couple of seconds, between 3 and 7 seconds, a random hittable gets spawned. I hit the hittables and it correctly uh, increases, gives me the power up. Why is everything a power up right now? Hopefully I'll get another random one. There we go. Let's do a super shiner. Boom. So yeah, that's good. In terms of next steps, what I'm going to do next. Um, I really I want to get onto the visuals. I really want to get onto the visuals and like try to make it look good. Give these walls a sort of an actual sprite and give the ball an actual sprite. Make the paddle look a certain way. I want to do that, but currently I can't do that. Maybe for next devlog or the one after. Currently, I still got to fix some of the bugs for the spawning logic. So spawning logic was really difficult because with a collision polygon 2D, it's actually really difficult to identify a random spot inside there to spawn something. So I had to do all this like just where's it gone? Set random spawn point, and it's all of this. And then I needed to get polygon bounds, and I had to do all of this as well. So it's really difficult. Managed to do that anyways. And now I've figured there's some bugs with it that needs to be addressed first before I even touch the visuals. Once I address these bugs, then I can get onto the visuals and start like trying to make my game actually look good instead of look like it's in a debug visual type of thing. So these are the bugs that I've noted down. I need a way to decrease current number of hittables when a hittable has been destroyed, so they keep spawning. So the problem is what I'm having is I'm setting a maximum amount of hittables on screen to 5, so that it doesn't just keep spawning and suddenly your field, the play field, is just full of hittables like targets, sorry, like progresses or power ups or hazards or whatever. So to make sure it's not too cluttered, I capped it to about 5. Obviously, I can tweak that variable later on. But the issue I'm having is I'm tracking the current number of um, hittables on screen, and whenever I reach that target 5, it's deciding to not spawn anything again. I believe that's because, just a theory of mine, I believe that's because I'm starting the spawn loop. I'm starting the spawn loop at ready, and then once I hit the 5, while current number of hittables is less than max hittables allowed, once I hit that, this method is done and no longer runs. So I'm guessing it's something to do with that. So I've got to fix that. I think that one should be relatively easy. And then there are some other ones, which is some other bugs which are going to be a little bit more harder. And these are in terms of spawning the actual hittables. My mouth feels really wet today, I don't know why. In terms of actually spawning the hittables, there's sometimes it's spawning it in weird places. So it's still spawning it inside of the area 2D, which is good, right? So that's good. And it's doing it at truly at a random spot, which is good. But sometimes when spawning, it's a couple of bad things. Sometimes it's still inside the area 2D, but the edges of the hittables are overlapping with um, like the walls or overlapping with um, the roof or stuff like that, basically. So it's overlapping with the edges of the playfield. I want to fix that and make sure it doesn't do that. Another one is it's spawning on top of each other. So sometimes, you'd get like a, I'd get a power up hittable spawn there, and then I'd get like a progress hittable spawn there, and obviously it's overlapping, and that's not good. So I need to fix that issue. And then the last issue I have is where the ball spawns from or where the ball is about to hit. This one's a little bit more tricky. The issue is for this one, let's say I decide to strike the ball. So the ball's here. I got my pivot over here and I strike the ball, right? Boom. And the ball's going this direction. And let's say the ball is over here. And then the game decides, okay, let me spawn a hittable right there. Do you know what I mean? Or let's say I hit the ball and I don't know. Let's say I hit the ball, it bounces, 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 right? So it's taken this route here. Let's say the ball is over here, right? Then the game decides, oh, let me spawn a hittable there, which is not good because it feels a bit too lucky or too random. So I try to figure out a way to know the direction where the ball is heading, and if this hittable is gonna be spawned over there, then forget about it. So yeah, those are the three bugs I want to sort out for this devlog. Hopefully I can get that done this devlog. If not, then today it will be done for today and tomorrow, and then after that I can get onto the visuals of the game and start actually making it look good, which I'm pretty excited for. But before I do that, I have to do this. So I'm gonna get on with this. We'll see how I get on, and yeah, hopefully I can do that and then explain it. So yeah, let me do that now. Right, so it's the next day now, and I did a lot of work. It's not fully complete, and I'll explain that in a bit, but I did do some significant work to try to fix one of the issues. So one of the issues I dealt with, where is it? Is hittables no longer spawn on top of each other and no longer spawn overlapping the walls and stuff. So let me explain that, how I did it. And I'm gonna try to explain it to make it like clear and understandable. So let's go through level manager first and then we'll go to hittable spawner. So essentially we've got our level manager, right? Start spawn loop while true. Oh, I don't know if I explained this before, but I fixed that issue where every time I was reaching the max hittables allowed, it would just stop spawning. Right here, I was putting while current number of hittables is less than max hittables, and then obviously once it reached the max, it stopped, and then that goes. The thing is, once I call this on, in ready to start the spawn loop, essentially I want it to run forever. As long as the game's going, it should just run no matter what, to be honest. So I return that to true. Now it carries on no matter what, even if I reach the max or whatever. So while true, in start spawn loop inside my level manager, so we start the spawn loop while true, give that delay between 3 and 5 seconds, then after either 3 or 5 seconds. If current number of hittables is less than max, then what we do is, if spawn hittable, then increase the current number of hittables, right? So I've made the spawn hittables method return true or false. False if it was unable to spawn a hittable, but true if it was able to spawn a hittable. So if we are able to spawn a hittable, increase the current number of hittables. That's my runtime state. So let's go to spawn hittables now. So spawn hittable, that's the method inside level manager where I'll call anytime I want to spawn a hittable. Again, return it will either return false if it was unable to, or true if it was able to, right? Because the method I'm using to spawn at random, sometimes it might just take more than 100 tries. So spawn hittable, if the hittables dot length is 0 or spawn area is null, then that's a guard. That's fine. So we pick a random hittable from our range, from our array up here. We've got an array of pack scenes called hittables. And then what we're doing, grabbing an instance of that. So getting, this is just picking a random hittable basically, getting that instance. And then we return hittable spawner dot spawn hittable at random and give it the instance, right? So hittable spawner dot spawn hittable at random, that also gives a true false return value. So if that returns true, it was able to spawn a hittable. That means this returns true. That means inside start spawn loop, spawn hittable returns true, and then we increment that. But if it was unable to spawn a hittable, it will return false. So that makes sense. So that's what level manager is doing. Level manager doesn't care about anything. It just picks the random hittable and say, hey, spawn this at random. So we go to hittable spawner. What we got now, I compartmentalized a couple of things. I'm not sure if this a method that I need to get rid of, but anyways, let's start. So we go backwards to forward or forwards to backwards? Let's go backwards to forwards. No, let's go forwards to backwards. All right. So remember, level manager is calling spawn hittable at random, giving it the instance. And spawn hittable at random, we got the pack scene, which is the instance. Right, we got a guard. Create an instance of the pack scene. So hittable equals pack scene instantiate hittable. That's fine. We know it'll always be a hittable because it's coming from level manager. And then we check if try get valid spawn point hittable out spawn point, right? So we're calling this method inside hittable spawner. We're saying try get a valid spawn point, and this sort of syntax I've actually used before over here, right? So stuff like this, bool try gets valid spawn point out point, right? Basically what that method means, because I've used it for bool for my bool method and I think game manager and paddle. Basically what this means is this method returns true or false, right? But the out means if it returns true, it also provides the return, which is point. So it would either return false, and then if it returns false, you could do whatever, or it could return true, meaning it was successful, and then it will also provide a return value called point, whatever I want it to be, right? So try get a valid spawn point, hittable, we're grabbing the spawn point. If not, meaning if that returned false and we weren't able to get a valid spawn point, then free up this hittable, send an error message and return false, right? Else it returned true. That means we've got a spawn point and that we were able to get a valid spawn point. So we make the parent, we make this node the parent. We add a child. We add the hittable as a child to this parent to this hittable spawner. This is just the guards. Don't worry about that. and then we go hittable dot global position. We put it into that spawn point which we grabbed from uh, trying to grab a valid spawn point, and then we emit the signal, right? So then let's see what try get valid spawn point does. So that should be down here, right? So try get valid spawn point. It takes in a hittable argument. So yeah, it returns true or false, takes in a hittable, and if it returns true, it returns the point. All right. So we're just setting point to 0 for now. And then we try 4 max attempts, which I've set to 100. So this will try for 100 tries because sometimes you might get false results. So just to be safe. So try 400 tries. First, try and get a random spawn point. So try get random point inside spawn area. That's the same as this, where if it's false, it returns false. If it's true, then it will return true and candidate point, right? So first we try and get a random spawn point. Try get a random point inside spawn area, which is the code that I had before. It's the same thing. It's trying to get a random point inside there. And if it's false, it will return false. If it's true, it will give you the point. So if that's false, return false here. But if it's true, okay, we got the candidate point now. So this is a potential point that we can spawn the hittable in. Then we need to check, okay, this is a random area inside the spawn area. That's good. Now check if it's clear to spawn at that point. So I call if is spawn point clear, give it the hittable and give it the candidate point. And is spawn point clear is just a method that returns boolean, takes hittable, takes spawn point. And this was really difficult. I had to ask AI to help. Essentially, we got this. We're grabbing the shape of the hittable, which is the collision shape 2D. Checking if it's null, and then we're doing this physics shape query parameter, giving it a physics shapes query parameter to like query something. So we tell the query what shape to get. We tell this transform tells Godot where the shape would be in the world. We then give it the spawn blocking mask, which we're just telling the query what layers actually matter. So that's set to the walls, the playfield, the ball, stuff like that. And then obviously collide with bodies true, collide with areas no. We don't want to collide with areas. And then the margin spawn clearance, that's like I gave it like a 4 pixel margin. And then this space state get well to the direct space state results equal space state. So what this is doing is asking Godot, is there at least one thing that touches this shape, right? Yeah. So it's asking, yeah, so we're plugging in that query here. We're doing space state, intersect shape, query, and then one. That one means, okay, we're just looking for, is there at least one thing that collides or overlaps with this shape? And then we return results.count equals 0, meaning if results.count, if we got nothing for that, meaning it didn't intersect with anything, then that will be true. If we got one or more, it wouldn't be more because we're just checking for one. Then this will return false basically because results.count would be 1. So that's what is spawn point clear doing. And we're saying if is spawn point clear, give it the hit one candidate point. So if it is clear, then point equals candidate point and then return true. So this out point that I'm returning, if it's true, try get valid true, whatever. So that's what I've got so far. And then yeah, so I explained all of this. So let me show you what the game looks like right now. That was a long explanation, but had to be done. And I wanted to break it here so that I can explain everything instead of like what I'm going to do later on, then I'm going to have to explain everything. And I did this all last night and then I got tired. I thought I just don't want to turn on the camera right now and explain it, so I'll wait till after Juma. Alright, so here's the game. You could see it will be randomized. So power up just spawned there, so that's 1. Randomized 2, you can see it's not overlapping anything. Not the walls, not the other ones. 3, 4 here. And yeah, this is like a good random like sort of scatter. 5 there, and then after 5, nothing should spawn. So if we wait for a bit, nothing will spawn. And then once we hit one of them, so let's hit this power up one here. Boom. Then another one should spawn now, because the max is 5. There we go. So that's good. That works. We can see that, look, they're all scattered and randomized, and they're inside the spawn area. So it works, and I have tested it like quite a few times. Obviously, I don't want to just run it once and then think, okay, it works. I've tested it quite a few times and it actually works. So that works now. We've sorted out one of the bugs. So this one's done. Currently somewhat need a way to decrease. So this is done. Sometimes it will spawn at weird places. Edges over, so that's done. On top of each other, that's done. Okay. So here's the bugs, and they're kind of linked. So sometimes the ball spawns from or where the ball is about to hit, as we've seen. And another bug, when the ball spawns and there's like a hittable below it, and it decides to fall and hit the hittable, we get error messages, and it doesn't actually impact the hittable. So what's happening is, let's do this. I'm a little bit at a crossroads right now, because right now we've got our play area, our play field. We've got our pivot here and our paddle. Ball spawn points there, right? And so the current issue is sometimes the hittable is spawning here, and then when the ball falls out of play and spawns over there, it will fall down. It will throw an error, and the hittable won't break. The reason why it won't do that is because the hittable actually takes into account ball info and tries to find out, okay, what was the last shot of the ball, and is the last shot a super shot, to try and find out if it's a super shot or not. Obviously, with a new instance of a ball, it doesn't have a last shot, so it throws an error into the debugger, and it fails to like hit the hittable or destroy the hittable or do any damage. So that's that. The crossroads I'm at is spawning the ball there whenever the ball goes out of play actually isn't what I want to do in the first place. I only actually initially did that because it was easy to just put that there, and I thought I'll get to respawning the ball later. In actuality, what I want is when the ball goes out of play, the ball spawns at the pivot, and then it allows the player to move the paddle around, right, left, right, and then aim, and then you decide, all right, I want to hit the ball there now. So boom, hit the ball there, or boom, hit the ball there. Not have it spawn in a random area. So if I do that, it actually fixes that issue with the hittable where when it spawns, it doesn't it hits a hittable in the way and it doesn't throw an error. That will fix that issue, and also I won't need to make hittables avoid spawning on or below the spawn point. The problem is because I've already set it up and I'm so far deep into development, it's going to be a headache to try and solve, like make the ball spawn at the pivot rotator. But I think it's finally time to do that. So the reason why I'm explaining all this, oh, this is 15 minutes of me just explaining. Okay, so let's get on to what I'm going to do next. So the plan for next is not to directly fix the bug of stopping hittable spawn below the spawn point, the respawn point, and then fixing that bug where sometimes if the ball hits it without, after just spawning in, it shouldn't, like, it should do damage or whatever. To fix both those issues, I'm gonna try to make a way so that when the ball goes out of play, the ball then gets put onto the pivot rotator, follows the pivot rotator, and then is only back in play once the user decides to shoot the ball. It's going to be difficult. I think I might need to add another state in. You know, I have like the playing state, the striking state, the winding state and stuff like that. I might need to put another state in, but I do need to add this into the game because that was the original vision. I just got lazy and I completely forgot about it, and now it's biting me in the ass. So I need to fix that. And then once I do that, it actually fixes both those bugs that I was talking about. So it's a longer fix than I was initially intending, but it's something that must be done. And so I'm gonna do that now. And then yeah, once I do that, I'll explain how I did it, and then we'll see how I get on. Right, so as you can see by all these errors, that's not done. I just want to explain like what's happened. So I've been trying to bang this out. Yeah, that's what she said. I was trying to like bang this out for like the whole day, trying to figure out sorry, it's like 3 a.m. Trying to figure out how does it work. Well, I know how it works, but the little like intricate parts that are interconnected. I tried so hard to flesh out my own method, and I had like things inside Game Manager that I added, things inside Paddle that I added, restructuring the logic, things inside Ball. They were all weaving together, and I realized it's just spaghetti code because it was like, sorry, there's a helicopter outside in Brazil just hit the bar. There was just so much going on that I couldn't keep track of, and I thought, oh, this is like really bad. I did like get to a point where I had something to build off of. I had it so that the ball would, what did I have? I think the ball like would like hover above at a certain point when serving, when when it's not a super shot and you respawn the ball and then it will spawn back in and spawn at a specific point. I just couldn't get the paddle to hit it. Banging my head against the wall trying to figure that out, and after like hours of just staring at code and trying to figure out, I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like I can't do this. Then I got not Claude. Give me 2 seconds. There's a helicopter flying by. I'm so tired. I can't think straight. Yeah, so try to for hours trying to figure out my own way to do it. It wasn't working. I got some sort of foundation there working that I could have built off of. But the problem was to build off of that, and I had so many new variables and new things going on inside Game Manager, Paddle, and Ball, and I couldn't keep track of all of it. It was just spaghetti code. So I went to GitHub, redid like just rolled back my version to the previous version so that nothing was changed basically. So I got rid of everything new, and then I've got ChatGPT Plus. Well, I'm using my dad's account, but got that, and I know they got Codex, so I installed Codex, and I thought, you know what, let me pump it into Codex, see what they give, right? So this is what they gave. Again, and you'd probably I can't even speak. You probably. So I was banging this, typing this, whatever Claude gave me, and I explained the whole situation and gave it all the files. And it said, all right, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Gave me everything to do. Tried to explain it, even though it was trying to explain it. It's so hot and I'm so tired, and I've been staring at code for so long. I couldn't make heads or tails of what it was giving me. But I just thought, you know what, let me roll with it for now, see if it works. Then tomorrow I can try and figure out how it's doing what it's doing. Did all of that, so I made a bunch of changes in Game Manager. Yeah, so instead I'm setting a marker 2D ball spawn point and setting that as the child. Inside paddle I've got a ball spawn point, and then inside of ball itself I've changed almost everything. I've got a state machine going on, stuff like that. I can't even explain what I've done because it's just I'm so tired. So let me show you what I've got. Like I said, now paddle's got its own ball spawn point and it tries to track that spawn point and then follow it. So this is what it looks like. Let me build, and if I run, oh my god, it's just awful. So this, I thought, oh, it works, like it just follows along. Then I try rotate, it doesn't rotate with it, and I thought, okay, I can figure that out later. Then I hit it, boom. All right, kind of works. Let me, and then I thought, let me just try to do a super shot. And I thought, okay, it's really, for some reason, compared to my other script, what I had before, it's really difficult to do a super shot for this, right? But when I do, see that, like that should have been a super shot. That should have been a super shot. And now we got super shot, and it's just completely broken. And I don't know what's going on. It's still showing the super shot laser. The ball's stuck at the spawn point. If I decide to hit it, it hits, I suddenly get no vibrations whatsoever. And it's just stuck like this. And I don't even know what it's doing. It's just stuck like that. I go into the debugger and it's doing all these integrate forces. And now I'm back at square one after hours just trying to do my own way, and then hours trying to do ChatGPT's way, and now I've just got a mess. So I'm gonna roll it back in front of you just so you could see. So what we're gonna do is we go, hopefully it doesn't reveal anything too crazy. So I got this, we'll do git restore dot, that restores it, and then just in case I've got any new files, git clean. I don't have any new files, but just in case, git clean fd. And yeah, that should be done. Now if we go into here, let's do reload from disk. If we go to paddles back to normal. If we go to main, I believe ball spawn point is there now outside of paddle. And if we build, run, it should be my normal what I had at the very beginning of this devlog. Oh, that's brilliant, mate. A whole 24 hours typing my life away for just to be back at square one. But I realize I have to do it because it's not, I can't go ahead with what I was doing before. Like I said, what I was doing before with what I had done myself personally, it was too spaghetti code, too just absolutely bonkers, wild west type style code. I should have paused it and explained it before I got rid of it, but I didn't. You'd probably be able to see it inside the development time lapse. And then spending hours. There's my previous issue. And then spending hours doing ChatGPT's methods. Less time than I spent on my own, but it's still just. And now I'm just back at square one. I want to keep up my release cadence of the devlog, so I am going to upload this. So I still want to end the devlog here, try to get this edited and whatnot before I go sleep. Um, Sometimes programming is just like that. From when I was programming in uni, sometimes you just spend hours and hours in the whole day and sometimes multiple days just trying to hash out one thing and it just doesn't work and each time you're just back at square one. So back at square one, it's gonna be, I don't know why that's happened. It's gonna be even longer until I can get onto the visuals, but tomorrow, I think tomorrow I'm gonna take a break. But the day after, I'm gonna get back onto coding because I just need time away from this screen, man. I need time away from this code because I'm gonna go crazy. So the plan for the next devlog, this devlog is gonna be so bloody long. The plan for the next devlog, like I said, tomorrow probably a break. If not, I might start coding probably later. The plan would be with this, whatever I've got now try to really understand what I've got, how it's all weaving together, and try to weave in a way so that I respawn the ball correctly how it's intended. Make sure it's following the pivot, following the aim, and it doesn't count as a super shot. And then once I do that, then I can finally get on to making my game actually look good instead of look like a development, God knows what. That's the plan. Now I've got to edit and upload at 3 a.m. But yeah, that's life, innit? Such is life. Anyways, thank you for watching, even though I know no one is. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, take care. See you later, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.